Hello, this is Gardner Snips the Goblin, and you're listening to ORly Radio Podcast. It's where people talk about stuff. Sometimes it even matters. You're already here, so you might as well stick around. Enjoy.
We're just trying to change the world here, people.
Oh, really?
The Facebooking and the tweeting and the Instagramming, all that would not exist without our understanding of science.
It's amazing how you do that as an insult.
You mean true for you is different from true for anybody else?
Yeah, absolutely, because I can't
Something's
prove
either got to be true or not.
I can't, no.
Merry Christmas! It's ORly Radio Show 89 for Friday, December 25th, 2015, where we dismantle the current events for your edutainment through emotionally rational conversations that make you go, oh, really? I am all alone today. I am your host, Andy Cowen. Everyone else has wisely taken the night off. I, however, have nothing better to do other than talk to you, my listeners out there in Netlandia. This is probably going to be a shortish show. I do have a special little plug thing at the end, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully you like it, and I'm going to see if I can actually get in touch with said gentleman and see if I can get him on the show. That is for a later time. In Errata, I don't have anything that's been reported by my viewers out there, but we do make mistakes here on the show, especially myself. I am certainly far from being perfect. And if you find a mistake, an omission, anything like that, please pause the podcast or the internet stream or et cetera, and go ahead and send us a note at orlyradiopodcast@gmail.com, or you could phone it in or text it in at 470-222-6759. All right, let's see. Status report from the War on Christmas. Apparently, people still think that that's actually a thing. And in Oklahoma, the legislators have condemned a Festivus poll, calling it a slap in the face of all Christians. A day after Florida activist Chaz Stevens received permission to install a rainbow-colored Festivus pole in the Oklahoma Capitol, state representatives already condemning this warped idea of a non-Christian playing by their rules. In a press release, several Republicans expressed anger over how someone isn't worshiping Jesus this month, while a lot of us may, quote, while a lot of us may have liked the Seinfeld series, this effort to mock the celebration of the birth of Jesus, our Lord and Savior, does not illustrate the best judgment of those who manage our state capitol, said State Representative Lewis Moore, Republican in Arcadia. To continue to quote, to Christians, the rainbow is God's promise not to destroy the earth again by flood, as found in Genesis 9:12 through 17. It's a great read, by the way. This sacrilegious symbol, wrapped in the gay rights flag, is not respectful of God or the many visitors, including children, who arrive by the school bus load during this time of year to celebrate the peace and joy and remembrance of the sacrifice of Christ for our sins. Moore said the display, approved by the Office of Management Enterprise Services, OMES, is a slap in the face of every Christian in Oklahoma. According to an attorney representing OMES, the display, quote, met the criteria, end quote, for display to be placed in the rotunda of the Capitol, and that is a matter of free speech. So this is a matter of free speech, of course, because if you're going to have one religion displayed gratuitously on public grounds paid for by the taxpayer, then you have to allow all of them. And this is Festivus is, of course, from Seinfeld, and it is the holiday for the rest of us. For those that do not necessarily believe in any of the let's see, what does my friend say it? Ah, yes, Christmas Kwanzaa. So any of those. I, of course, am an atheist, so I still love Christmas. So it's the spirit. It's not about Jesus. it's not. So after all, the reason for the season, and here's where a lot of people are going to tune me out, but the reason for the season is actually the axial tilt of the planet and causing the winter cycles. Anyway, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, and that's really unnecessary. So anyway, no, there is no war against Christmas. Even us atheists, many of us, really, really enjoy the holiday, and we think that it's just kind of laughable. So this winter solstice, enjoy yourselves greatly. I certainly had a wonderful time with all of my friends and relatives this season, and Merry Christmas Kwanzaa to you all, and until next year. Okay, pardon me. I have too much eggnog apparently in my coffee, so I'm hacking up a lung. Because I know that you all wanted to know that. All right, so let's see. What else was in the news? That was the only thing that I really found on the war against Christmas, though I'm sure I wouldn't have to look terribly far to find more strange and unusual stories that really are pathetic. Yeah, I'll go with that. Pathetic. So we have, yes, here we go. We have legalized bigotry, or at least the attempt to legalize bigotry. GOP lawmaker calls for U.S. immigration policy based on skin pigmentation. Yes, skin pigmentation. Republican representative for Alabama, Mo Brooks, believes, I'm reading directly from the article, believes that Donald Trump was right to call for a ban on Muslims entering the United States, but that the policy simply did not go far enough. Speaking on the Matt Murphy show, which I'm not familiar with, earlier this week, Brooks calls for immigration policy based on skin pigmentation, as Contemptor reports. Okay, that's another website. Brooks told Murphy that the only reason we don't have a pause on all immigration — Brooks is a staunch opponent of immigration reform and pretty much any form of immigration into this country — is, quote, due to the fact that the POTUS wants to change the way America looks. He then decried, not decreed, the president's immigration policy, saying a lot of it has to do with skin pigmentation and religious values, essentially stating that Obama only wants to allow Muslims and other brown black people into this country. You know, there's not really a whole lot to unpack for that. It's just horrible. And there's audio of it. Let's see what Mo Brooks dug himself a hole with.
I want to delve into some Alabama-based politics, particular to the omnibus spending package that passed last week, and presidential politics. We had another presidential contender back in the state of Alabama over the weekend, Ted Cruz, saying that he was excited to be in Alabama, and he thought Alabama was going to be a major player on March 1st when we go to the polls and vote.
Okay. My faux pas, that is actually a 16-minute segment, and I would have to browse through it to actually find the juicy bits where he's making an ass out of himself. So should you wish to find it for yourself and happen to have 16 minutes to spare, please go out to our website at www.orlyradio.com and find it for show 89, and you'll find all the show notes right there, including the link to where is this? This is out at Addicting Info, which will then give you the links directly with the audio and all that fun, happy stuff. Let's see, what else do we have today? Today we have, oh yes, Lindsey Graham, GOP presidential hopeful, has decided that he is not going to run anymore. This comes at 9:45 on December 21st. So earlier this week, CNN announced that Lindsey Graham will be suspending his bid for the 2016 presidency. The South Carolina senator will reportedly make the official announcement in email supporters to later on the 21st, which he did. So there's an interview apparently out on CNN as well. I'm not going to suspend my desire to help the country, he says. I've hit a wall here. Yes, Yes, you have. That wall is primarily Donald Trump. But, let's hear it in his own words. A message from Lindsey Graham.
Today, I'm suspending my campaign for president. I want to thank everyone who's taken this journey with me. You have honored me with your support. I believe we've run a campaign you can be proud of. We put forward bold and practical solutions to big problems, like retiring our debt and fixing a broken immigration system. This has been a problem solvers campaign. However, the centerpiece of my campaign has been securing our nation. I got into this race to put forward a plan to win a war we cannot afford to lose and to turn back the tide of isolationism that was rising in our party. I believe we made enormous progress in this effort. 4 months ago, at the very first debate, I said that any candidate who did not understand that we need more American troops on the ground in Iraq and Syria to defeat ISIL was not ready to be commander-in-chief. At that time, no one stepped forward to join me. Today, most of my fellow candidates have come to recognize this is what's needed to secure our homeland. I'm far more confident today that our party will reject the Obama doctrine of leading from behind and will provide the strong leadership America needs to restore our military and take the fight to our enemies and do what it takes to make our country safe and preserve our way of life. This is a generational struggle that demands a strategy and the will to win. I will continue to work every day to ensure that our party and our nation takes on this fight. I'm suspending my campaign, but never my commitment to achieving security through strength for the American people. God bless our fighting men and women, and God bless America.
Yes, God bless America. Well, he's gone. So that does it for the Graham campaign, another one out of the GOP presidential campaign clown car, as it were. So what we have here, let's see. Oh, wait, another one kind of bites the dust in a weird way. Christian evangelist Franklin Graham announced that he is leaving the GOP entirely. Famed conservative evangelist Franklin Graham said in a Facebook message this week that he's so disgusted with the Republican Party that he's leaving the GOP. He scolded both parties for the passage of last week's big spending bill, which he particularly lamented for keeping Planned Parenthood funding intact. He found it outrageous that after all of the appalling facts revealed this year about Planned Parenthood, our representatives in Washington had a chance to put a stop to this, but they didn't. Graham compared abortion to Joseph Mengele and Nazi concentration camps before explaining why he can no longer be a Republican. Quote, "This is an example of why I have resigned from the Republican Party and declare myself independent. I have no hope in the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, or the Tea Party to do what is best for America. Unless more godly men and women get in this process and change this wicked system, our country is in for trouble. I want to challenge Christians, even pastors across the country, to pray about running for office where they have an impact. We need mayors, county commissioners, city council members, school board members who will uphold biblical values." Last week, Graham said on CNN that he doesn't believe Islam is compatible with American values. Yeah. So good on you, I guess. Maybe there is hope after all for the political system when such a person decides that they don't want to be a part of it. And out in the chat room, yes, in fact, we do have a chat room, ladies and gentlemen, out on orlyradio.com. We have an IRC chat room right there available right on the webpage next to our live stream of the show on YouTube. And one of our faithful listeners, Kate, is out there, and she's providing me more articles. Oh, wait. This is from Examiner. Article, Lindsey Graham, better for a Democrat to win the White House than Donald Trump. Well, that's really saying a lot for such a person to completely abandon everything that party has to say, even with his mentions of Planned Parenthood and everything. And of course, it bears note that all of the things that we heard about Planned Parenthood were fabricated lies. And, well, they sound so good and they maintain the narrative so well for that particular side of things, that they're just going to keep saying them over and over and over. I think there's an old adage: if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. I think that's probably the modus operandi here. It's not going to work because, well, we have things like Snopes and PolitiFact out there testing these things and giving people liar, liar, pants on fire, which is what Donald Trump ended up with from PolitiFact this year. He was the #1 liar. Yay. Not that we're terribly surprised around here. Let's see. Oh, and, before I carry on any further, because yes, there are more stories and some of them are horrible, I'm going to give us a quick note from one of our other friends, the folks out at the Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia Project.
Are you annoyed by misinformation spreading like crazy, and you want to stop the flood of nonsense coming from all directions? Go to Wikipedia, as do all those millions out there. Did you know there's an edit button on all Wikipedia articles? Why don't you go and hit that button to start making the world's largest online encyclopedia a more reliable source of information? If you're specifically interested in skeptical topics, come and join us at Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia, an international endeavor to change the world for the better, word by word. There are many ways you can contribute. You just need to start. You speak several languages, all the more reason to join us. We provide training and all the help you need. If you want to make a change, there's a nice community waiting for you out there. Contact us at gsowteam@gmail.com, visit our website, that's guerrillaskeptics.com, or check out the Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia Facebook page.
Hi, ORly Radio listeners. This is your host, Andy Cowen, calling my voicemail to make sure that it still works. Please consider calling us, 470-222-6759. Bye.
Okay, more news. December 21st was a big day for news. I think everybody was emptying their queue and putting it out online before they went on holiday. This was out on Mediaite by J.D. Durkin. No indictment in the death of Sandra Bland. A prosecutor in Hempstead, Texas, has announced that a grand jury has refused to issue indictments in the jailhouse death of Sandra Bland in July of this year. Bland died this summer while in a Waller County jail cell and sparked a national outrage when the coroner ruled her death a suicide. Dashcam footage revealed that Bland, 28, was pulled over from a routine traffic stop by Trooper Brian Encina 3 days before being found dead in her cell. Reports indicate that Bland was pulled over for switching lanes without activating her turning signal. Bland's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit, and Bland's name became a source of conversation on the presidential campaign trail. On Monday, a grand jury opted not to issue any indictments against jail employees for responsibility in Bland's death. Earlier in the day, the family of Sandra Bland said publicly that they did not feel as if proper investigative work was being done into the death of the 28-year-old. Bland's mother, Geneva Reed Veal, identified the secrecy of it all that left them feeling uneasy. Reed Veal said at a news conference on Monday, quote, "We're supposed to have an investigation to show us what's happening. We know what we've been listening to in the media, but we don't have any real evidence." And unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's going to be any real evidence. So, sorry, that's bad news, but well, maybe we can bring this out here at the end, but not yet. There's a spot of good news, but it's kind of like a backhanded compliment. The FDA has released final rules on Monday that would allow gay and bisexual men to donate blood if they have been celibate for 1 year. Under previous rules, men who have had sex with men are banned from donating indefinitely. Ultimately, the 12-month, this is a quote, of course, Ultimately, the 12-month deferral window is supported by the best available scientific evidence at this point in time, relevant to the U.S. population. We will continue to actively conduct research in this area and further revise our policies as new data emerge. That's Dr. Peter Marks, Deputy Director of the FDA's Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research. He wrote in a statement on Monday. You see, everything came out on the 21st, I'm telling you. This is fairly ridiculous, according to people familiar with the matter, that this kind of regulation would be in place at all. That, and with current testing, 1 year doesn't do any. It is so much ridiculousness that I can't really even get into it. But at least it is progress. It is keeping it in front of people. So I have to allow it to have a grain of good, but it is that backhanded compliment, so we'll see where it goes. We will keep abreast of this as lawmakers decide to pull their heads out of their rectums. Let's see, what else? Ah, yes, and speaking of people pulling their heads out of their rectums and things of that nature, there is a project out on Kickstarter, a signal-proof headwear. Essentially, it's a tinfoil hat. But unlike tinfoil, aka aluminum foil, in this day and age, there are certain signals. Yes, there was a study. It was expensive. They used really expensive gear. They tested whether or not tinfoil hats in multiple configurations, the pyramid, the just wrapping it around your head, things like that, whether or not that would actually prevent the government from spying on your thoughts or what have you. And what they came up with was, yes, it does attenuate certain frequencies. However, there is always a frequency that it made better. So it doesn't really work. Just letting you know out there. The tinfoil hat doesn't actually work. But apparently, this group out here, it's called Shield, Signal-Proof Headwear, by Shield Apparel. The first signal-proof headwear, stylish and comfortable signal-proof hats that incredibly fit and reflect electromagnetic waves. Somebody might say that it's a specially designed hat for bouncing electromagnetic waves and radiation. But is it really so? Yes, it reflects signals from cell phones, Wi-Fi routers, microwaves, and it generally blocks waves transmitted from electric devices. It's not blocking for 100%, but better than nothing. Moreover, it looks really cool, and it's one of the most comfortable and functional headwear you have ever worn. They have a cap. They have a beanie. Yeah, that's really something. And this is just more in the story of people not understanding basic science. And from the chat room, do they make those new hats in colander shape? I don't believe they do. I think it's just going to be the cap and the beanie. In fact, since you're right there, I'll go ahead and drop you a link right there in the chat room. There you go. Enjoy. But yeah, it's stylish. I guess what they did was they created some sort of Faraday cage inside the hat, but radio waves will go through your face, So yeah, it protects your head where it would be worn, but it just kind of goes whoop right through your eyeballs. So I'm sorry, it's not going to work. If Big Brother really wants to read your thoughts, they're going to do it because they do it through your TVs after all, and you're looking at it, and they can send those waves right through your eyeballs. It doesn't matter what you're wearing on your head. Sorry, it's just not going to work. Now, it might work for the space aliens because that's more a directed ray, straight out of the... Anyway, perhaps I digress. Okay, and... Oh, also, they're kind of expensive. It's kind of funny. This is it's a British project, so it's looking like 16 pounds or more, and you can get one signal-proof hat, a little or big beanie or cap So apparently they have large and small beanies. And once the project is successful, we'll send you a survey to determine size, color, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they even have newborn sizes. That's what the small is. That's nice. That's fantastic. And yes, that's right, Kate. A Faraday cage would have to cover basically your entire body. Good luck. Good luck, folks. It's not going to work. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? Yes. This is a video from Bloomberg Business out on the Facebook. Essentially, let me get to the root of the story here. Now, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to let it play. It is 6 minutes and 46 seconds, and it is worth chatting about. It truly is, because it's all about driverless cars. So one of our favorite subjects here. So here we go. It's a nice little garage door opening thing.
I was approached by a friend to come build this technology for Tesla. I saw what they were doing, and I'm like, I am confident with the research I've seen that I can beat that. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a car. I'm going to throw some cameras in it, throw some computers in it. We're just going to make this work. Done. Ask yourself, what is self-driving, right? So a lot of cars already have cruise control. In some ways, cruise control is a self-driving car, and then some cars have adaptive cruise control, which that does the brake automatically. And what we're building is level 3 automation. Level 3 automation, 99% of the time, you have to do absolutely nothing except watch the car drive. And level 4 automation is, of course, when cars can drive with no people in them at all. I'm George Hotz, and I'm about to be the next billion-dollar CEO. I don't know what else you want.
George Hotz came onto the scene as a 17-year-old hacking phenomenon. He was the first person to break open the iPhone and the first person to hack Sony's PlayStation. He spent a few years working odd jobs around Silicon Valley and competing in security competitions. Now, after 2 years in virtual hiding, he's come out to show the world what might be his greatest invention yet.
You can doubt, and you should doubt. I doubt everyone who says everything, but once I see it, you can't doubt anymore, right?
How do you tap into the car's internal controls?
So we bought for $40 off Amazon Chinese CAN transceivers. There's actually one right there. And we can see all the messages being sent between the components. That's how we're reading the steering angle. And we can also send our own messages, which are going to tell the car to actually turn the steering wheel or to apply the brakes when it's appropriate.
Is it hard to tap into all that, or that's what a mechanic would do today, have access to the same kind of system?
The actual whole car is on the debugging board of the car. So we just have a wire plugged into the debugging board, just like a mechanic would do.
It just seems crazy to me that you can, I mean, not anyone could do it. You obviously know what you're doing, but that you can kind of just plug into the car and then start getting all the feeds from the steering wheel, the pedals, the turn signal.
Modern cars are very electronic and computers. And you ask, like, I mean, I know a bit about cars, but I'm not like a real car guy, but I'm a computer guy. Cars are computers. There's kind of two halves, right? I worked on both of those halves independently. It's like, let's build up good models of how driving works and what I should output given these inputs. And then over here, I'm like, okay, let's hook up a joystick to the brakes and the gas and the steering so that I can steer the car entirely digitally. And then once you have this part and this part in the same computer, it's just a question of connecting them together. You know yourself from the car.
The self-driving cars that are on the road today continue to rely on very expensive sensors and clunky software. Hotz's car uses similar sensors like LiDAR for training his AI software, but the cars he plans to sell one day will only need a set of 6 smartphone cameras that cost $13 a pop to see the road, and Hotz's software will take care of the rest. He thinks the total cost for his self-driving package will be about $1,000.
So we detach the car from the home network, and this is the plug powering all the computers. We're just going to plug that into a power inverter here, which will power it all off the car. Now we're ready to go. How do you teach a car to drive? Some people might think that what you do is, well, you give it all these rules about driving. You tell it all these, well, you know, if there's a car a little bit over there, you should give it a little bit of space. And, you know, if there's and there's all these like very rigid rules, like you should stay in the exact center of the lane. But this isn't how humans drive. This might be how humans think they drive, but it isn't how they actually drive. So how do humans learn to drive? Well, they watch other people drive. And then they try it and they get better. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So right now we're just in the watching phase. We have not told this car anything about driving. We've shown it 10 hours of human driving footage. And we're like, here is what the human did. Behave like that human as much as you can, right? And you get all this intuition that you'd never get in a rule-based system.
This is round 3, 10 hours of the car learning to drive. Does it drive like a person that's been driving for 10 hours, or is it better than that?
It's driving like a person that's been driving for 10 hours, which you'd be surprised. There's a lot between that 5 and 10 mark.
The car is now totally driving by itself.
The car is completely driving by itself. You want the car to start modeling the people around it. You want the car to know what people are about to do. The point is to drive naturally like a human, not like some engineer's idea of safety in a boardroom. When you get on the highway, press this one, and always remember, if you don't like what the car is doing, press cancel. It'll give you full manual control back. Yep. Go ahead.
Here goes nothing, man.
Press it.
Good?
Yeah, good. Let go.
Jesus. That is amazing, man. It is hard to commit yourself that this is going to work.
He's very safe following distance. The car in front of you.
This is driving, man. I got to be honest. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that good. That like when I drive with you, usually it's just really hard for me to tell.
For you to tell how much the computer is doing. Exactly why I wanted to let you drive.
That is crazy. Hot still has a ton of work ahead of him to prove that this technology can work. But spend an afternoon with him, and you can't help get the feeling he's on to something fantastic, and that this may be a huge breakthrough, not only in self-driving cars, but also for artificial intelligence technology.
I think that a lot of companies today are just doing a really poor job. And I might be way off base. There might turn out to be a reason why everyone does what they do. Sometimes I've seen that. But sometimes I've seen it just take a new set of eyes to come in and be like, hey, wait a second, we can do everything better. And really what it's all about too is it's about having fun. It's not about, I'm never going to say that we're changing the world. I mean, we are, but that's not like, that rhetoric has been hijacked. What this is about is actually building really cool things that we want in the world.
Yeah, it's kind of a look ma, no hands kind of thing. It's pretty amazing. It truly is. Let's see if I can stop the screen share. There we go. Okay, so you would have been able to see that video, at least in its choppy state, out on the live stream. Oh, hang on. I did not mean to start it over. There we go. You will see that live stream right into the YouTube. It's a little choppy, but you can also find the link in our show notes and watch it for yourself and share it many, 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 many times. Now, George Hotz is an amazing person. He is a hacker, and you could kind of tell that he has a little bit of that hacker social anxiety that ends up being rather prevalent and stereotyped. He is a rather particular kind of person. I think he's amazing. He's on to something. He may be a little full of himself, and Elon Musk has tweeted back at him that yes, it looks interesting, but that's not how you do this. You do this with lots of engineering and study and research and things like that. And yeah, typically you do. But that doesn't mean that you can't have somebody come in with that fresh set of eyes and just that hacker mentality. It's so important. And we've been seeing a lot of disruptive technologies this year. 2015 has been labeled as one of the best hacker years, with 3D printing technology coming to, a really monumental breaking point. And, we've seen Corning was 3D printing with glass. There's a 3D printer that builds houses in China out of concrete. It just extrudes. I mean, that's crazy. These are huge. These are really huge. And we're going to see more of that. The additive manufacturing thing and the ability to open source it and give it to the people to just make whatever you need. Design software is free. Everything is free once you get the hardware in place, and the hardware has become commoditized and cheap and easily accessible. And he bought CAN bus adapters. This is HOTS again. He bought CAN bus adapters that he just opened up the car and tapped into where all the wires were going. He found all the feeds, and you're able to input your own signals into that. It's pretty amazing what he's done with really very little. He's onto something, and we'll see where it goes. I would certainly love to have self-driving cars be ridiculously cheap. That would be an amazing thing. I'm not sure that we're going to see that, but hey, why not? Let's see. And let's see. I have one last story, and again, this is part of that amazing thing. And oh, look, it's Elon Musk again. SpaceX finally managed to do it. On December 22nd, they launched and then had the first stage booster land on its own. Amazing. We have finally really reached that point of reusable spacecraft. It came down and landed and then can be refueled and reused almost immediately. Now, there is also another, Jeff Bezos and his company, Blue Origin. They have more of a space tourism variant. And they managed to do this also with a much smaller craft. I mean, it was only like, I think, 5 meters tall. Let's see, actually, they have it here. SpaceX achievement follows the successful landing of Blue Origin's New Shepard spacecraft and propulsion module after it flew into suborbital space in November. Welcome into the club, tweeted Blue Origin's founder, Jeff Bezos, shortly after SpaceX flight. However, it is worth noting that on Monday night, the Falcon 9 rocket descended from about twice the altitude as the New Shepard vehicle and at about twice the speed, approximately Mach 7.5. It did not simply drop back to Earth from a vertical launch. Rather, the Falcon 9 flew hundreds of kilometers away from the coast before turning around and flying back. By doing so, it became the first orbital rocket ever to achieve such a feat, and presumably the first of many. They've been trying this for many times. We've been covering many of those where it would hit a barge and kind of keel over. But this time they actually landed it on terra firma, right there back on the pad. So it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. They did a marvelous thing. Jeff Bezos is the founder of Amazon, and Elon Musk, he got most of his money from eBay and selling that off, and then he's also got Tesla, and he's got this, and yeah. They're kind of like Iron Man, Tony Stark. Like if Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne went head-to-head in space, yeah, that's what we're looking at here in real life. I'm pretty amazed. Pretty darn amazed. And let's see. Well, that's all the news that I have. That's all the news that I have. But I do have a pick. There's a guy that I found out on the interwebs, and his name is Juzzy Smith. I'm sure that is a stage name to end all stage names. And let's see, where is it? Where is it? He's a one-man band out of Australia, and this particular video it really caught my attention. And I'm going to do a screen share again. Let's see if I can get that. And I'm going to run out the show with this. So let me do my end script right now. That's it for me tonight. I'll be back about 9:30 p.m. Eastern next Friday. In the meantime, the conversation should continue on the web. Head over to orlyradio.com. That's ORLYRADIO.com for all the links that are right at the top of the page. Do watch live and chat in the IRC if you can, like Kate did. Thank you very much, Kate, for being out there. And if you've liked what we've done here, You can help keep the lights on and, well, help keep the show going in general by following the Help Us link on the webpage and go over to patreon.com/Cowen, Cowen. And if that's too rich for you, sharing the show amongst all your friends, that would be the biggest Christmas present that you could give the show. I would love it. Thank you so much. It would be marvelous if you did that. And if you can't just share the show, how about you email us corrections, maybe advertising offers, unclaimed lottery tickets, hate mail, that's fine, unsolicited advice, whatever you got. orlyradiopodcast@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail, 470-222-6759 or ORLY. And post and vote stories on the subreddit. Leave a glowing review on whatever platform you found us on. And, of course, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Can't thank you enough for spending some time with us. And until next time, this has been ORly Radio, part of the Cowen Services Network. Now, I'm going to pull up that wonderful one-man band from Juzzy Smith, and you can find the link in the show notes under Entertainment Reviews. And here he is. That was loud, sorry.
Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation. All you need is the will to do right. Yes, and I believe in good karma. What you do will come back later. So all you need is the will to do right. And I believe in beautiful places. They are made of happy faces. People who know how to do right. Yes, and I believe in good music is a sound that spreads around, leaving a feeling to do right, kick it over the stool. Well, I believe in good vibrations.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.